Hello, today is the 21st of November 2023 and just got it in behind me here the old Clark forklift, which I've been using today. Tidied up a bunch of stuff in preparation for the next little project I got planned on doing. This here is the spot that old camper was parked at for a few years that I worked at getting it out of here. We're lucky to get it out in one piece, but it's gone out of here. Now I'm just going to fill the gap up with, I believe, is going to be the old military cat. I moved all that lumber out of that one spot down there, but I had to come back in here with the forklift and pick up these 4 rollers. They belong to the D6. They're not in the greatest shape on the roller parts of them, but the bearings and seals, they still got oil in them, so they're tight that way. So if I ever get around to taking that one track frame off, the other one on the other side of the D6, if I need rollers with some good sealed innards, these are them. But anyway, I got to clear that up, and eventually I'm going to come into this area here behind the house and around. It goes up onto the bank of the road there. I just want to run in here with the blade and sweep it clean and level so I can drive around the house here. This eventually is going to have a carport, I guess. I'll put a carport there so I can drive right through it and have the truck underneath the roof. But anyway, let's get this forklift out of here and put these rollers someplace that are out of the road. Now I'll just leave the forklift here. They're not probably out of the road, but they're in a different place. They're out of the road for now, this winter anyway. Had those windows that was over in that spot that had the camper in. Got them over here. I'll pick them up eventually and put them beside the rollers. Good enough for the winter, but they're out of the road. In here I got the pads, bunch of bolts in that Prestone can, filter, battery, oil, and some gas. Not that we're going to use the gas, that's for sure, but and I got some diesel fuel filters. We'll open that up and change that out. I'm anxious to see what that's going to look like. Anyway, we'll bring you back when we get down to the bottom there, situated at the old military cat. There's our target for affection there today, is the military cat. As we can see, one of our first things we're going to do is clean off those rails so I can put the pads. I got a dozen pads and enough bolts here, so we'll get that done. Another thing I want to get done is over on this side. Because I had that big fuel filter problem with the D6 plugged up fuel filters. I haven't had this thing running at all, but I've had it spinning over. So I want to open up that drain tube down there, drain the fuel out of it, and open up the cap here and see what the filters do look like. We'll clean that filter body out and put new filters in it right off the get-go. I already did fix up this here little item here. Well, that's all tightened up now, but that's the little cover for the window that allows you access to the pinion drive. It was seized. I couldn't function it. Now it's functioning now. If I would spin the engine, the pony, you'd be able to latch into the ring gear on the flywheel. So that's an improvement. Top of this pony is still as dirty as ever. But moving over to the back side again, the other side, we'll get a better view of it. This is not the tank for the pony that it came with. You can see it's a different shade of yellow, and there's no green on it. But the tank that it had on there was not authentic to this year. It was quite a bit newer tank. It was made out of stamped tin. This is out of welded steel, which is normal for the age of this machine. And I got a brand new sediment bowl. It's not original equipment, but it's nice. It was, the other one was, the glass was broken out of it, and I can't find a replacement glass so far, but I imagine one will pop up sooner or later. But we got that all hooked up and done, and fixed up the fuel line here. So that's going to work. But I got to open up the top of the carburetor, pull the carburetor off, pull that mag off. It doesn't have any spark, and I'm sure the carburetor is right full of crud. So we got to take that off before we try to start it. But turning over the pony motor, I dumped some ATF down in the spark plug holes and spun it over. And it does have a little bit of compression now, so I'm thinking with an electric starter, I think I should be able to get that pony to run, and in turn start the diesel. But anyway, we'll get after what we got to get done here. I got these pads from a friend of mine, 13-inch pads. They're not all uniform from the same machine. They're just what he had laying around. Pretty worn out, but they're better than none at all on the chain, that's for sure, because I'm just working the cat around the chain is going to get beat up. This is pretty rocky, gravelly country I got here, so they look like that. Another example, pretty much worn out. They've been run loose. You can see they've been vibrated around and had a hard life, that's for sure. Low maintenance. Inside the bucket here, I had to go get a different bucket. The one I had was totally rusty. I never actually went through it, but here, these ones are fairly good condition. Still turnable. I'm going to try to use the low mount heads as opposed to these are higher, taller heads. I'm going to save those for a good project. This here is just to get these pads tied down. So I'm just going to use the shorter headed ones like this one here. They're all in good shape, but there are short heads on the machine right now, so might as well keep them as even as possible. And if I run out, I got another bucket right here that I can go through. I'm not going to use these square heads either. I want to keep that for a better project. These are very unique. I don't want to use up any of those. I don't have a lot of them, but what I do have, I'm not going to use. And then I couldn't find any just regular steel washers in town, so I got these galvanized ones. They'll suit for today. So let's get ourselves switched over and see what we got to do over there at the cat. Oh, there goes the darn hammer wrench. Well, that's been quite a few minutes wrestling that on. These are not new bolts. They've been used and recovered, but their threads, the bolts are in good shape. The head's been beat up a bit. So it's tough to get them in there. It's going to be a long slug. I got another 10 to go. Okay, I got a total of 5 of these pads on. The ones underneath the fenders I can't get on. I got to move the cat. And then I got 3 in the front here that I put on. That I've found out is the easiest area to get at, is just coming over the front idler. Over on this side, the pads are already on or going around the front idler. Where it's missing is underneath the fender there, and I can't get to it until I move the cat. And actually there was ones underneath. Meanwhile, I'm going to move over to the fuel system. Not hard to get into this fuel system. Just knock a little bit of dirt off. There's a lot of dirt, but just the loose stuff, get it off. Just 4 bolts. Well, she's right full. That's a bonus and looks like fairly clean. And look at that. Those are not as dirty as the D6, but they are bad shape. It looks like good fueling on them. Pretty surprising that it's in that good a shape. But I don't know when the last time before it was shut down and anybody did any servicing. It could have been just recently. There we go. The top of it on. Pretty much done working on this for today. The days are pretty short, so it's getting toward the twilight and it's cooling off again pretty rapidly. So we got the fuel filters changed, and I got some of these pads on. We got to work at the next part of this little endeavor and start moving this around, but it's too late today, so we'll probably start back at this on Thursday. Start moving around and put the rest of the pads on as I move it. We'll move it up on top there with the D6 and then park it in that spot where that camper was. Leaving the fuel bleeder open all the way, turning the engine over, priming up those filters. Hopefully by the time we get up there, she'll be all primed up again. Hello, it is Thursday the 23rd of November of 23. And we're down here at the military cat, the Army cat. I'm just putting some fresh water in it in case it does start. We'll open up this air bleed here. Yeah, I can hear the air coming out of it. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but we've got water coming out of this little air bleed here, so that's good. We'll shut this off. All right, so we got water going right through into the pony motor. It's come through the air bleed, and it's up to the top here. What we're going to do today is I'm going to get the old 6 running, get her hooked up here. I'm going to start dragging this thing around so I can reposition those pads. That's number 1. So we'll get going at that, and then come back at you later. Well, we're back. I got the old D6 hooked to the back of this cat. And what I'm going to do is first pull it backwards far enough. Get this area of the track here. 4 pads are missing. I'm going to pull it backwards so they roll up around into this area. Well, right away in towing that backwards, I had it in reverse and the clutch in, so the engine was turning. It automatically primed up this filter tower here, and it has a big leak here because the filter plate I have installed upside down. So now I'm going to have to remove the top, pull the pins out of those filters, put the plate on the correct way. So we will get all that handled. Clearly this plate is upside down. This hole should match up with over there. One of those things that even the best of us can accomplish, I guess, at times. So we're gonna have to switch that around and then progress after that.